I didn't know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
He's actually been here more. Remember,
Lon, yes, he was at the last meeting with me, and he's on his way.
Give him a little packet.
Perfect.
To speak, but just want to
Tell us what's going on, huh?
Good. Good.
Yes.
Good deal.
What?
We're going to talk about enrollment numbers?
Pardon?
We're going to talk about enrollment numbers?
Yeah.
Or how you doing?
I will talk about enrollment numbers. Sure. But they don't start their deal.
No, I didn't. I brought coffee with me.
Except
Did
somebody
you want
just
some? I can
zapped the camera.
I said I bet they don't start their
Yeah, now I can't see Jack anymore. I can see somebody's arms.
Craig.
Well, I can't see Jack.
I think so. I just get in, get out.
Really good at that.
If I want to leave something for others, because that rocks the world.
Still can't see Jack.
I heard it.
You're going the right way, but I'm just not there yet.
That huh? Not quite.
Stairs.
There we go.
Yeah.
Philip Cox.
Philip Cox. Related to Stasinski's.
Yes.
They're having what?
Good evening.
That's what Chamber does.
Okay.
Everybody here but him.
He's here.
Oh, I did, baby.
They're patting him down outside. The police officers got him.
Evidently Lon had money, so he got by. I know. Can I speak over your shoulder today? It's just what's your deal?
Yeah.
Packet. He's here now with no loan.
I'm going to wander around back, unless you guys already been there.
No, we're waiting for you. Yeah, we're getting ready to. What's wrong with you?
Hey Daryl, you coming?
Yeah, I think I will.
Step it up, would you? I'm good, sir, and you? Good, thank you. Corey, you made the field trip?
We did make a field trip.
It was good. Did you go jumping this weekend too?
Yeah, in fact, it was done on Saturday, and then
buzzed over there.
And watched the races, and then went back down and
Wasn't very far for you to go. It's about the same from here. There and here.
all the way out to Quincy.
Now, did you go into the old Maricopa Highway to get there from where I am?
Actually,
Or did you have to, did you take the 10
you
up?
pretty much come all the way through to 60. You can't cut through Chandler right there, just because I know.
Because you remember the old, I can't remember the number of the highway, but we used to go through Maricopa, through South Mountain. 51st Avenue turns into the
guys ready?
highway that used to be the old Maricopa.
Having fun. They met each other last week.
Okay, they're reminiscing.
Yeah, Maricopa, and then it went on down and went to Casa Grande.
Just go pump them whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
But that's
start this up here, okay?
Casa Grande, it was before.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the roll call?
You certainly may. Councilmember Chuka.
Here.
Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Croft.
Here.
And Mayor Marley.
Here. Before we move into the introductions, presentations, and proclamations, I'd like to ask that everyone please remember the families of former council member Don Wojcik, who passed away Saturday, and employee Emil Kalinich, who moved here to Chino Valley in 1952, and he was in the Normandy invasion and in the Battle of the Bulge. Please keep their families in your memories and prayers. Thank you. Introductions, presentations, and proclamations. Yavapai Council Community Update presented by Steve Walker. Yes, sir. You look familiar, Mr. Walker.
Mayor Marley, it is wonderful to see you again. And council members, thank you very much for taking a few minutes. Each semester of the year at Yavapai College, we try to get out and visit with all of the town councils and city councils, the county supervisors, just to give you an update, share some information, and see if you have any burning questions that we can answer or get back to you about so that you're tracking with your community college. The fall semester is off. I see she's sharing this. Let me mention that I provided you with two pieces of information. One is our twice annual update from President Penny Wills. Just some highlights from campus to campus, program to program, some of the things that she wanted to highlight, and I will hit some of those. I'm not going to go right through all of them. And then also I gave you this small brochure with some facts at a glance, a little bit more about the various degree and certificate programs, residence life, campus activities, etc., orientation checklists, and the locations of the centers for Yavapai College throughout the county. And so we're well into the fall semester, and we had an interesting summer in that enrollment coming back for the fall was down almost 20% during the summer. We were really concerned because that's not something we've ever seen before. But we continued to work with people throughout the communities that had been to Yavapai and maybe just hadn't registered. And now we're running at about 1% lower than this time a year ago, which benchmarks favorably with other community colleges throughout the United States, which are running about 1 to 3% down. And if you understand community college enrollments, they track pretty much right along with unemployment rates. So when unemployment rates are low, community college enrollments are down, and that makes sense because people are back at work. And that's what we've experienced. So over the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen a very small dip in enrollment, about 5% over the 4-year period. We still remain, in this brochure about page 4, we still remain an outstanding value with a cost of about $2,250 per 30 credit hours, or a year of school. And that is well below the national community college average of $3,347, and way below the Arizona 4-year university annual cost of over $10,700 per year. So again, those of you with children or who are interested in going back and starting another career, over 2 years at Yavapai College can save close to $20,000 just in tuition to get those first 2 years out of the way and not lose a single credit hour if you're paying attention to your career pathway through to the 4-year institution. Or if you're just after a certificate, then you're out in the workforce already. A couple of additional highlights that I want to bring up. We're in the middle of a campaign, both at the college and through the foundation, called Education Now. And Education Now is a very diligent effort on the part of everyone involved in the college to see that as many Yavapai County high school students matriculate to Yavapai College. We capture a third to a half of those, but we want to capture a lot more than that. We think it makes sense for our high school students all over the county. I've given you the economics of that. And so Education Now is an outstanding scholarship opportunity for high school traditional students to come right on through Yavapai College on their way either to the workforce or to a 4-year degree. Couple things about the Career and Technical Ed Center just south of here, just past it coming in. Our CTE programs continue to thrive. I don't know if you know this. I don't know how many of you have been to CTech, as we call it, right over here. But it is the best career and technical education center in the state of Arizona in a community college setting. Right now, we're rocking along with a robust 90% job placement percentage for all of those people that come out of CTech, be it welding, CNC machining, aviation, all the programs we have there. More than 90% are being placed in jobs once they've gotten their certificate or Associate of Applied Science. We also recently won 2 major grants that are going to be really important to students here in the county. They're both from the National Science Foundation. One, we won almost a $900,000 grant to fund additional engineering technician training and especially student internships, which is an area of focus through our Regional Economic Development Center. And second, we won another NSF grant in conjunction with ASU's Ira Fulton School of Engineering. And so over the next 5 years, we will be providing 96 scholarships for students interested in the engineering career field. And it's actually an NSF strategy together with major universities where the universities provide mentoring, field trips to the Ira Fulton School of Engineering for our Yavapai College pre-engineering students, so that, and then while they're here, they're scholarshiped through their pre-engineering program, and then they move seamlessly into ASU's School of Engineering. And we've got, with that grant, we've got 96 scholarships for students over the next 5 years. Tremendous opportunity. And because it's a 5-year period, it also comes into play for our JTED students, our Joint Technical Ed District students, where they can actually get started in pre-engineering as a high school student, move seamlessly through Yavapai and into ASU's engineering program, which is one of the best in the country. So that's an outstanding student pathway. Cool. Chino Agribusiness Center is thriving. We're dedicated to be there in the long haul. Our horticulture classes, I don't know how many of you get out there and are involved in the horticulture classes or the spring sale, which is one of the most amazing sales in Yavapai County, trying to get those plants. But horticulture is thriving. Equine and canine classes are all full to capacity with waiting lists. Our electrical utility line worker program's in full swing with its third complete cohort of students. And of course, these students are faring very well with job placement in well-paying careers in the energy field. So those are all going on out at the Chino Agribusiness Center. Our Regional Economic Development Center is also very active, working with the town manager and the assistant town manager, and with Arlene. Alex Wright is our director. I think many of you may have met her. She's done a number of things to benefit the town of Chino Valley. We just won a grant also for what we call our REDC to activate mobile small business counseling for rural Yavapai County. And specific geographic areas that will benefit from this new grant program include Yarnell, Black Canyon City, and Chino Valley. And what Alex is doing is working with Arlene, the director of the Chino Chamber, to re-equip and outfit at the Chamber a small Chino Business Center, and we will be using that money to bring on at least a regular part-time small business development counselor that will be doing the counseling right here in Chino. We're all over the county as it is, but it'll be even better now that it's here. And Alex wanted me to tell you that she's also interested and has talked with Dee Skipton of United Way about possibly beginning one of the first ever Chino job fairs so that we get that at the local level here. We just had great success with our job fair in Prescott Valley today. It was at the Prescott Valley Activity Center. We had over 450 people there with as many as 430 jobs available from the more than 100 businesses and industries that were there. So we think it'd be fun and appropriate to begin to bring those job fairs to the smaller communities in Yavapai County. So those were just a few highlights that I had, and please do take time to take a look at these materials. I've left some copies over here on the end of this row for anyone from the public that would like to take a copy with you and peruse it at a later time. But I'd be delighted to answer any questions about Yavapai College at this time if I'm capable.
Do we have any questions on this side? Vice Mayor wants me to get a new career path, but that's a different.
Okay, we'd love to have you, Mayor Marley.
Any questions on this side? No. Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate Chino Valley.
All right. Next is our quarterly update by Arlene Allen, Executive Director of the Chino Valley Area Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Nice to be here. And this will be a shorter presentation than we thought because Steve just did part of it for you, so that's awesome. No, that's great. I can just plow through this. Let's see if we can.
Don't click on Phyllis.
I don't want to click on Phyllis, but I need to get this. Can we move? Can we move, Phyllis? There you go, Phyllis. Thank you so much. Oh, you got a better place now.
Displaced.
Hiding everything.
All right. So, about 20 months ago, I took over the chamber, and we sort of made the decision to redirect and to take a look at what chambers were doing nationally and what we were doing here, and really get more aligned with the new focus of the Chamber of the future. And it's taken a while to get there, but we've been working toward this and realized that what we were saying about ourselves was no longer valid, that the mission and the vision and the tagline that we were using no longer represented who we were and what we were doing. So we kind of changed things up a bit. Our mission now is to serve the interests of local business while advocating business advancement, economic vitality, and job creation for the benefit of Chino Valley and our region, which very much is where we are going and not where we've been. And toward that end, of course, we needed to shift our purpose and then our tagline. And so now we are community-centered and business-focused. And that truly is who we are and who we're going to more and more become visibly in your community. We'll take a little look at membership and run you through my favorite thing, data. So when I came on board, the membership looked like a 45-degree angle from the upper left to the lower right. And my job was to flatline it, which we were able to do in about 10 months, and then to turn it the other way, which was somewhat challenging. And how do you do that at a chamber? You do that by changing what you're doing, by trying to become more relevant, not only to the existing members, but the new ones who are coming in, who are a very different demographic and have very different ideas about what chambers mean to them and why they're joining. And very few people now join a chamber because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
They join a chamber because they want something specific. And so last year we added 27 new members. We are on the path this year to exceed that. And our retention rate is up substantively, and it is now at over 90%, which exceeds the national 81% average. And for a small town who's had a difficult economic time, we feel that we're doing well in repositioning the chamber. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to you to see the membership categories that are the most prevalent: family, community, civic organizations, government, real estate, all those things that you would expect. However, there are others that are coming on strong, and we have some new members who are internet-based. We have a new member that just came on board, Vivint Smart Home, which is an internet-based company that provides home security using local home-based businesses for installation. And they have those answer your door from your cell phone anywhere in the country kind of home-based security systems. Jed's just joined the chamber. They're expanding their cafe. They're going to be double spaced. They're going to expand their hours. And also a young firefighter with a growing landscape business, and that was this week. So we feel that we're kind of going in the right direction. Our visitor center, which of course is mission critical to our relationship with the town, last year I got a grant from them for web banners on their site, and I applied for it again. And we were very fortunate to not only get that grant again, but to get an expanded grant. So this year we will have 10 months of banners on their site, and we'll also have an ad in their Arizona Tourism Guide, which hundreds of thousands of copies are literally distributed worldwide. And as part, and we are on their website, visitarizona.com. We created a banner for it, and we use the same format, whether vertical or horizontal, as what you're seeing on the screen, but we changed the pictures out. This year, it is going to link to the events that we're doing for the community. And so all of those events that we put on for the community are going to be links to that. We started with an exciting 6,000 viewers on our first banner and ended with over 60. So we are looking at well over 100,000 people clicking and hopefully clicking through this year, and that really does put Chino Valley on the map. So we're excited about that and our relationship with AZAOT. Our visitors center calls. We are busy puppies at the chamber. I know some of you go, wonder what they do. They do mixers. We do, and this Thursday we have one at Yavapai College, Chino Valley. And they are also, their horticulture department is doing a chamber beautification program. So they have planted half the front of the chamber, and I have a new task. It's to try not to kill it. It's not easy for me. Last year, 2015, and this is calendar year, we had 1,415 phone calls. That's a busy chamber, and that's visitor calls, not membership calls, which I track separately. This year, with 4 months to go, we've kind of beat that number. We're at 1,643, and I would venture to say by the end of the year, we're going to clear over 2,000 calls to the visitor center. Those are people who are traveling through here on vacation. Those are people who are thinking of relocating here. Those are people who are interested in the town. This is not membership data. The visitor center guests, the people that walk through the door. In 2015, we had 1,112 visitors. Again, not member visitors, people coming to look at the community. And this year, that door has been very busy. And with 4 months to go, we have 1,287 visitors already. So we are ramping in numbers of visitors. And we're ramping in a lot of things at the Chamber. One of them is relocation packets. We send out packets of information to people who request them, who are thinking of relocating here. Before my tenure in 2013 and 2014, we sent out 63. Between the time it takes to put them together and materials and the priority mail postage, which is the cheapest way to get them out, it's about $10 a packet, just for reference. So that was an expensive year. But then it got more expensive. So 2014 and 2015, 157. This year, real estate's busy here right now, 246 so far. And we've still got 4 months to go. So that is a lot of people who are interested in Chino Valley, and that's a good thing. Social media. So, geek that I am, social media is a big deal for me. And we use that really effectively. When I came on board, we had 17 likes. And so if 20 of you now go online and like us, we'll clear that 500 mark. And that's a huge milestone. So everybody pull out your smartphone and like the Chamber. We use social media extensively. I just posted this afternoon a Pinterest board for Sequins and Saddles, the event we did last Saturday. We use Pinterest extensively, and we link a lot of relocation material and footers and emails to the Pinterest site so people can see the pictures of the events, not Chamber events. Some of ours, but mostly the ones that I go out and you wonder what I'm doing at all your events. I'm taking pictures and using them to market for tourism. We Twitter a lot, and the town retweets us. So we're all working together. It's one big happy social media family. We are building business. We do a lot of ribbon cuttings, and clearly the direction we're going is truly building business. We are advocates for the community, not just for the businesses that are members, but for all the businesses in the community, with all of these organizations that we belong to. And next month, not only will Alex Wright and Goodwill, but NACOG be the speakers at the Chamber Luncheon. It is our workforce development luncheon. So it's going to be an annual thing, and it will be a round table with the three of them. The programs and services that we have, the things that we're doing to build members and build business and build community. Women in business. Brave men are always welcome, and the ones that come have a great time. Women in Business puts on quarterly luncheons. They raise funds for the Chamber, but they do more than that. They educate the community and build great relationships and have a great deal of fun. Let's Put Chino Valley on the Map is a program I started with Google, and it's working really, really well. We had Yavapai College was at the last session that we did, along with several business owners in the community, and we got them to acknowledge their Googles and really move forward and get recognized online. The next one we're doing, we're going to provide free websites, and we're going to walk them through the process of building them to any business in the community that doesn't have a website and wants one. And that's, again, at no cost to any of us, including the town or the Chamber. We put together a Shop Local program with Prescott Valley and Chino Valley, and that is continuing with Prescott. We are doing lunch and learns, and of course we partner with you guys, the Citizens Academy and the Candidates Forum. And of course, what Steve told you, which is so exciting, is we are taking a whole room at the Chamber and turning it into a small business resource and entrepreneurial resource center. And we will be partnering with SBDC in working with them on that, and we are very, very excited. We do a lot of that ad hoc now with no resources, and so we're excited that we're going to have the resources to do that. Sequins and Saddles. So this is the first year of this fundraiser. It is a scholarship fundraiser to provide funds for our graduating high school seniors to go to college. Last year we doubled what we had done the year before, and we gave away $4,500 worth of scholarships. Almost all of them went to students for Yavapai College and NAU. So we were really thrilled to do that. We're hoping to at least meet or exceed that this year, and we are well on our way. It also raised funds for riders at Horses with Heart. Our golf tournament, again, was also a fundraiser for the scholarship fund this year, and we're going to continue that. Heritage Festival, also known as the Chino Valley Wind Festival, was a great start of an event, and we are doing it again this year, and it will be expanded. We're hoping that this will turn into a 2-day community event by next year, and we have a lot of interest in people coming back and expanding that. We all remember Fall Fest, the one that got very wet and had to come back. And of course, Mayor Marley, who could forget your chili? The mayor was generous and entered our chili challenge last year, and he lost to someone from Drake, who's coming back to defend that title. But this year, we've expanded this to be bigger and better than ever. We have all kinds of new modules in here. It's a second annual chili challenge. We are having a business expo, not just for chamber members, but for all of the businesses in the community who want to enter attached to this. We're really trying to drive traffic. It is a free event. We're trying to put together a motorcycle show at the same time. We're going to have pumpkin bowling. It's going to be great fun. So all of that we're going to be marketing through the Arizona Office of Tourism, on the web, in social media. I'm really trying to drive traffic to the town so that they will do what we want them to do: live, work, play, and shop here in Chino Valley. And with that, I will answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Any questions on this side? Any questions on this side?
Mayor, I challenge you to pumpkin bowl.
A pumpkin bowling contest. I think I just might accept. We'll see.
All right, we heard it first here, guys. Breaking news. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next item is call to the public. Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. Total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak to call to the public? Yes, sir. Fellow in the tan shirt looks familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Thank you for being here tonight and having us speak to the public. And I'm Craig Brown, Board of Supervisors, District 4. Just wanted to dispel any rumors. We are in the midst of an engineering study between Center Street, which will run from Williamson Valley to Center Street here in Chino Valley. And that report should be done in about a year. So for everybody that's out there in full panic, not wondering what's going on, that's what it is. So we've got about a year before we get the report.
All right, thank you. So we have a year to panic. Okay, thank you. Our next item, is there anyone else for call to the public? Okay, call to the public is now closed. We move to response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials address matters raised during a call to the public at a previous meeting. And at our previous meeting, we had one of our citizens came up with some desired community activities, and those we have given to our recreation department. They expressed support for replacing some of the school buses. I believe it was John Scholl. Who was it that we got the information to? Okay, John Scholl. And Williamson Valley Center Street Connector, the lady expressed support for it, so we got hold of Mr. Brown on that. Moving onwards, current event summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events or ask a staff member to provide the same. Presentation on information requested by the mayor and council will be made and questions answered. No action will be taken. Do we have any status reports? Yes, sir. Committee.
Yeah, we had our simple meeting last Wednesday. Our signal is still on schedule to go ahead and be coming in the 17-18 fiscal year. We have moved the widening of 69 between the mall and the Frontier Village up to 2021 due to some monies that became available. So that you can look forward to. And we're looking at some other good projects. So as they become available, I'll let everybody know.
All right, thank you. Any others on this side? No. Any others on this side? Yes, sir.
As far as utilities, Mr. Bartell got a hold of me this last week and informed me that our new screens for our sewer treatment plant were, the first batch was on its way, and the second batch is coming ahead of schedule. So, which is nice to hear. Those will be installed and will make our sewer treatment plant much more efficient and hopefully allow us the opportunity to accept outside sewage to make it more profitable.
All right, thank you. Any others on this side? I attended a Mayor's Ad Hoc Old Home Manor Recreation Committee meeting today, and we hopefully will have an item coming before council at the next meeting for considerations. All right. Up and onwards. Mr. Smith, did you have a report?
No report.
Okay. Next item, consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Does anyone wish to remove any consent items? Anyone here? Okay, the chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve consent agenda items 6A and B.
Second it.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public, and no action may be taken in executive session. Action item 7A, consideration and possible action to approve the ground lease agreement between the town of Chino Valley and the Chino Valley Equestrian Association for an initial 5-year term beginning August 9th, 2016 through July 31st, 2021 for property located at Old Home Manor. Ms. Griffin.
Excuse me 1 second, Cecilia. Mayor, would you like me to recuse?
I don't think so. Phyllis, do you feel that Councilwoman Chuka should recuse herself before the vote on the Equestrian Association?
Mayor Marley, members of the council, if can you hear me?
You sure can.
Okay. If she's going to recuse herself, she needs to recuse herself not just from the decision, but from the discussion. The open meeting law requires her to do so. I mean, the conflict of interest requires her to do so if she has a conflict, and in order to have a conflict, she would need to have a pecuniary interest in the outcome of this matter. As a volunteer member of a nonprofit association, it's unlikely that she has a pecuniary interest, but the decision is up to her.
Okay. Are you going to make money off of this?
No.
Okay, pretty simple. That's all the pecuniary.
Horses have never made me money, just so you know.
You might as well just feed them dollar bills instead of hay. All right, thank you.
Okay,
So I'm good to stay?
Yes, ma'am.
wait, Mayor?
Phyllis needed to say something.
I do have one other thing on this item. The agenda has incorrect dates on it for the effective date of the agreement.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify that the agreement, because the council didn't make the decision on it previously, the agreement now is stated to run from, I'm looking for it,
October 1.
From when?
October 1 through, September 30th of 2021?
Right.
Is that right?
Here.
Okay. Instead of the dates as stated in the, on the agenda. So when you go to make the motion to approve it, please note the change in the dates.
Would you repeat the dates again, please?
Sure. October 1st, 2016 through September 30th, 2021.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay, now I'll be quiet.
How did you survive being moved around like that? That was, they bounced you around quite a bit. Are you okay?
She lost her
You,
job.
okay, you're good. All right.
I survived.
I was getting seasick. They were moving you around so much. All right. Oh, Mr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let's hope we can take this to the finish line tonight. I just have a very short presentation there we go, to recap where we've been so far and then to talk about a little bit of the change in the language is all. So as you're aware, we brought this before the council in March, and simultaneously working with the council, the group has been working with the Mayor's Old Home Manor Committee. They came back in front of the council on 6/28 of this year, and we talked about some of the lease language. So we're just going to walk through that really quickly. I think it's all solid now, except for the dates, which are effective in the lease that Jamie has, and then we'll be able to move forward. So a couple of the changes that were made in this lease agreement than what we considered before is that they have slightly moved the location of where the equestrian center will be. So with the new area that they have some town buildings that are on the property. One of them is a modular office building, which they will, as of Saturday, have access to half of it, plus a Quonset hut that they will get somewhere within the next 5 years, as well as the maintenance yard that are all on the property that they're now going to be leasing. Their initial term is for a 5-year period. So sometime between now and this 5-year period, we will vacate those other buildings, and they will become use for the equestrian group. We also did an inventory on the equipment that was out on the property, and that has also been included in your lease agreement. So today we have the group here from the association, and Mr. Martinez is here, and he's done a new site plan. So when I'm done with this, I'd like him to brag a little bit about some of the changes that they've made to the site plan that, because it's a new location, it's shaped different and everything. So I sent you out an email yesterday with the updated survey, which is in the agreement that our clerk has. This is a correct survey right here that is included in the lease agreement. So. And lastly, I just want to mention, Councilmember Mendoza had some concerns on our last draft. One was the inventory of equipment. One was about the utility extensions and licensed contractors. Those have been addressed in section 1.4.3. Plus, it also mentions that all improvements have to be done in accordance with the UDO, et cetera. So I think we've got things in there that talk about getting permitted contractors, that type of thing, so, for Mr. Mendoza. And he wanted an adopt an inspection schedule. And Mr. Mendoza, we don't have that spelled out formally in the lease, but it does offer us access onto the property with 24-hour notice, which would be typical of any lease where you want to get onto a property. You just have to notify them unless there's an emergency. Then we can get on. And then lastly, Mayor Marley had contacted me about addressing traffic concerns for large events. So that has been included under section 1.4.4 so that we work in conjunction with our police department and and that the association is responsible for all large events and traffic control. So I'd like Mr. Martinez to speak a little bit about the site plan, if you don't mind.
You bet.
Well, that's what it looks like now. Okay, that's good. Mayor Marley and members of the council, it's great to be here again and finally kind of getting down to the home stretch to making this a reality for the town and the citizens of Yavapai County. Most of you may know that we were looking at some acreage just south of this existing acreage, so I'm just going to give you some highlights. This is the Yavapai Agri-Business College, and I'm proud to say that was my first building I ever designed in Yavapai County, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm back in the neighborhood, per se. This is the L-shaped property. Rodeo Drive is right here. This particular area right here is where the Quonset hut and the maintenance facility is. This building right there is the existing modular building, and that's the existing arena, just to orient you where it's at. Everything else over here is pretty much vacant. And quickly, just the layout, this particular area right here would be the proposed RV facility overnight. And the reason I picked this location is kind of twofold. Access from both the streets here, plus it also provides access to other activities in the area, such as the parks to the south, the motocross if it comes in, the aviation club, the shooters. It becomes kind of a very central location area for them to get there. So currently our first phase is then to use this area just adjacent to the east of the existing arena as the staging area for rigs to come here while we get started. Making this kind of the plaza, the staff meeting rooms, hay barn, storage facility for the whole complex, kind of central located. This then becomes the general public parking with the green belts, vendors areas, primary covered arena here, some warm-up arenas, second arenas, a dressage arena, more RV parking, not overnight, but just one day event, and then future growth and places to use more the larger events that need horse. And we still have basically around the perimeter of the property a trail system, and then we have access to state land and down to the creek to the west. And I think the site works a lot better. It flows a lot better. I think it's going to make much better use of the use of the land and be a good neighbor to the college. So we're looking forward. And just a quick summary where the committee is at, or the association. We've got our nonprofit approved by the federal government, so we're ready to start raising funds there. We're working on putting together a budget for the next year, of the cost to get us rolling, a sponsorship program, and we're start hitting people's pocketbooks so we can make this a reality. But our whole goal is to have a great opening weekend, the first weekend in April. And so far, if my memory is correct, we have about 7 different producers that are willing and have committed to start doing shows here every weekend between April and October. Wow. And the success of that is going to be to have multiple arenas, because we have barrel racers, we've got ropers, we've got hunter jumpers, and they all want to come. But if we don't have more than one arena, then somebody's got to be gone. So the success, like I've said many times, is the more multiple events we have at one time, the more successful that this facility and the more successful that the town's going to enjoy from the economic impact.
Excellent.
With that, any questions you may have?
Any questions on this side? No. Any questions on this side?
I'll look forward to seeing you in April.
Yeah.
I have one commitment I told everybody is I get the first steer to rope, and other than that, I'm good. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. We appreciate all your work on this.
Can we get Cecilia back up? I do have a question for her.
You bet. Cecilia, could you wander back up, please? Thank you.
The Quonset hut and the modular building, this is something new, correct?
That's new to what you had seen before, yes.
We're going to be sharing that.
Right now, we're going to be sharing the modular office building with them. half and half. They're separated out.
Divider in the middle.
Who uses that now? Public Works?
Public Works, yes. I think the roads department.
Where are the, okay. They currently use that property for?
Gosh, I had all this down. I think they meet up there and have computers. I think Mr. Lopez might be better suited to answer that question on exactly what they use it for. I think they have some storage in the other half, but.
That's a great question, Mr. Mendoza. Right now, our road crews use that building. It's their lunch room, it's their meeting room in the mornings. They park their 500 trucks out there in the fenced-in area. But the building's set up with a separator, so it could be used as two separate buildings per se. We are occupying the other half with our signage, but we found a place to pull that signage out and house it in another area, so.
It's an equipment yard as well, correct?
Not this particular area. This particular area just is the modular, mobile home, if you will, and a fenced-in area. So it's really just for offices. The maintenance facility adjacent to Old Home Manor is where we house our majority of our heavy equipment, and that's also where the Kwanzaa hut is and a town well. That will not be occupied by the equestrian facility until that 5-year mark when we've transitioned out, and then we hand that back over to them for whatever use they may have.
Okay, so that Quonset hut that's referred to here, there's only one Quonset hut out there?
There is, and we currently occupy that with our water, our utility services, our Vector truck, equipment, stock, and the like. So we'll be transitioning out of that between now and the next 5 years to allow the equestrian field facility to move in.
Where is that Quonset hut?
It sits about right here. So right now, this is the existing arena. This is the existing modular right next to the arena, and this area is fenced in. And this is where pretty much just office space, lunch space. This fenced-in area down here is where the Kwanzaa hut is and the maintenance facility and some other trailers, our heavy equipment. That area will still remain in Public Works use until that 5-year mark when we're transitioning out, and then we'll turn that back over to them. So we'll probably come in and maybe move the fences out of there, relocate the fence, but the Kwanzaa hut itself will stay there.
Okay, where's that equipment going to go? Do we already have another place for that equipment?
We do.
Are
We are
we not?
working-
Do we not need the use of these offices? What's the future plan?
The future plan is to develop a centralized public works maintenance utility location adjacent to the treatment plant, where we'll build a couple more buildings, and we'll have a joint shared use between facilities and roads, one meeting room, one break room, bathrooms and the like, and then it'll branch off into 2 larger areas where we store the equipment for each department. But the idea is to have it all centrally located right around the treatment plant area.
So we're going to vacate buildings that we're using for this now, and down the road, we're going to build new buildings.
Yes, we're developing it.
this.
We're currently working on a development strategy to get us out of there in the next 5 years. So funding and the like, we looped Joe in. We're trying to budget that. We'll bring that to you in our strategy moving forward on how we're going to do so.
Okay. And am I the only one that's seeing something here? We're getting rid of something that we're going to have to replace and cost us money down the road to replace it. And we don't. This was the first.
No, I understand.
You're forcing us to put something into a budget later to build a facility.
Right, we have the need's there for Public Works. We need an expanded building. We're growing out of our current facility at the treatment plant where we've grown out of. We have a lab testing facility in the same area where our folks eat lunch. So it's not conducive to that type of environment. So we know we have a need to expand even the current facility at the treatment plant. So what we're trying to do is develop a strategy to serve all of our needs. Road crews needs, equipment storage, the treatment plant and their needs, the utility company and their department and their needs. So that's how we're kind of focusing in on this. Okay. And that's how this thing came to be.
Mayor Marley,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could make one comment. It is my understanding that the modular building was originally built for the Rodeo Association and for their usage. And so when the Rodeo Association discontinued, and when the town was in the dilemma that they were with, no funds to continue helping them with their expansion of public works, then they went ahead and occupied the modular. I think that sheds a little bit better light on it than assuming that this building was built for town use, and then we're making a request and expecting them to vacate.
Okay.
In conversations that I had, it appears that Public Works is outgrowing both facilities.
Yeah, back at that time, when the Rodeo Association had it, they actually allowed the Chino Valley Recreational Foundation to have part of that as an office, and we had a person in there that, that worked for the foundation. So it was a joint use at that time because the association allowed it. And the talk, the plan of moving everything that is there over to the wastewater treatment facility has been in the works. The talk has been there, the outreach plan, even though there hasn't been anything concrete. But
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any further questions or discussion? The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like,
Yeah.
yes, sir, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the ground lease agreement between the town of Chino Valley and Chino Valley Equestrian Association for an additional 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2016 to September 30th, 2021 for property located at Old Home Manor.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and 2 seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right.
They're happy.
okay, the work starts now.
Yeah, the work starts now.
Get out there and
That's
get
for sure.
busy.
All right.
I usually don't get
Our next item is consideration and possible action to adopt resolution number 16-1092, authorizing the application for a Clean Water State Revolving Fund, CWSRF loan from the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority of Arizona, or WIFA, for expenses related to refinancing the USDA debt, because we can't refinance the U.S.'s debt, the
Go right
USDA debt, and constructing the Center Street sewer line extension in an amount not to exceed $640,000. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Really, this is just a follow-up on our discussion that we had at our last study session. As you know, the Center Street project, the preliminary engineering estimates are over by about $640,000. So the town we already have a portion of the loan that we got when we refinanced the USDA debt, and now WIFA is asking us to pass a resolution to take out another loan to cover the shortfall of $640,000. We're hoping that when we go out to bid, that the project will come in significantly less, and we won't have to borrow that much money. We only have to borrow what the project needs, and we can de-obligate the rest.
Okay.
So what I did is I just sort of put a little timeline here of what we've been through. In November of 15, the council approved the original WIFA loan, and that gave for $515 less $250 in forgivable principal, which was essentially a grant. In March of 16, you approved the engineering contract. In March 22nd, the council adopted the ordinance changing the mandatory hookup policy, because one of the things is we went through that before we actually committed to the project. And so tonight, September 16, and this is in the financial column, so this is, the Public Works has one track going to get the project done, and the financing it is another track. Tonight, we'll approve the WIFA loan application, if you so desire, for $640,000. We are ready to go out to bid. Michael has got the advertising done, the bid package set. We're ready to go, ready to turn that on. We hope the WIFA board will approve the loan on October 19th. Their staff has pretty much, they've gone through it, we've vetted it, we've done all the financing, and they're very confident the WIFA board will approve the loan. Michael and I will go down there and explain why we were so far under, exactly what we told them at our last study session, because they're going to ask those questions. Then the bids will come in, we'll find out the final bid amount, and really on November 8th, we're going to come back to council, and we're going to have 2 agenda items. One's to approve the loan, and one's to award the contract. And that's really your council's decision point, because at that point, we'll have all the facts. And primarily, the biggest thing we're missing right now is how much the project will really cost. So at that point, we'll do the full presentation, lay out everything, where we've been, where we're at, where we're going to be. And I think that's the best point for the council to make the decision. It's really, WIFA they really would like us to do this project from an environmental point of view, because it connects about 100 homes to a sewer line that aren't going to be on septic, and that for them is very important. And that's why they gave us the 250 unforgivable principle. But the town can, if the project is too big and too expensive, the town can say, we don't need, it's just not the right project at the right time. And you guys have that discretion to say that. And it's really no harm, no foul. We just de-obligate the money, paperwork goes away, and the next time we go to WIFA, they'll loan us money for our next project. I have no comment. They're a really good organization. I've worked with them for years, and they understand things like this happen, and you guys have the ultimate discretion on what you do in our community. So tonight, it's just the next step in the financing process to keep the project moving. And the rush is that we want to meet this October 19th board meeting with WIFA, and that's why it's before you this evening.
And really, all that we're doing this evening is giving you permission to ask for a loan.
Right, yeah, they have your resolution in their packet, they approve the loan, and then we'll come back and at that point, I'll get the loan documents drawn up, and they'll be before you at the November 8th meeting, and then at that point, you can make your decision.
Could you please refresh my memory, if construction begins November 14th, when can we expect to have it at Molly Ray? Oh, sure, call an engineer.
I don't have a concrete schedule right now, but our specifications call for a 60-day contract. That's probably going to extend to 75 for final completion. Give them an extra 15 days just to wrap things up. But I'll have a better idea of where we're at later this week when we finalize the contract. I just need to negotiate that with the consultant and see what he thinks that time frame should be. So I'm hopeful that we could, we're pushing a little bit back, but I'm hopeful we can have this thing up and running in January sometime.
Okay, thank you. One other thing, Joe, when this comes back to the council this next time, we will have a solid number of how many homes we will be hooking up, because there are homes being built even as we speak,
Yes,
correct?
yeah, we'll know exactly how many are on septic and how many are left in the subdivision to connect.
Okay,
So,
because we'll need a solid number then to see if we have gone over center or not, correct?
right, and I'll update the analysis that I put in your packet too, and we'll do a full presentation. We'll start from scratch and walk you all the way through, so that the public knows exactly what we're planning on doing.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have some, go ahead.
Okay, I can go first. Okay, I just wanted to clarify, Joe. So what we're looking at basically is that if we do not pass this tonight, this project dies and the WIFA loan goes away.
That's correct.
If we do pass, we're not locking ourselves in, but instead we are actually just allowing the conversation to continue, and then you guys can continue to work with WIFA, and it comes back to us, and then at that time, that is where we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this contract and move the project forward.
Right.
But tonight does not do that, but it just allows you guys to continue the conversation.
Continue the process.
Okay, gotcha.
And the most important thing we'll have on November 8th is the price of the project.
Okay.
Because we have, we're way out. We got a low number and a high number. We're going to end up in the middle. Let's see where that is before we make our decision.
You bet. Then we'll have some solid stuff.
Yeah.
Mr. Turner has one.
Okay, I'm going to go back to what she just said. If we do not approve this tonight, that does not necessarily mean that the project goes away. That means that we have the money that we've got right now to do the project. That's what we voted to do. That's still in place.
That is still in place, yeah. And actually, we could not vote for it tonight, or we could bring it back to a future council meeting. It's just pushing it further down the road. I guess our rush tonight is to get to that October meeting.
Right.
Because WIFA's board meetings, I don't know if they have one in November, but it's getting to the holidays and things get pushed, so.
Right.
That's-
No, I understand. I just wanted to make that clear that
So that
we've
is-
already approved this project.
Yes.
That, you know, the council has. It's just that now that we're in this engineering, we're finding this big shortfall.
Right, so he is correct.
Okay,
And
well,
s-
I'm sorry. Can I clarify?
No. Yeah, go
Can I
ahead.
clarify then that if we don't approve tonight, the WIFA financing will go away?
No.
No.
No, it won't, it won't. We'll just have to, if we postpone this and approve, and we'll put the resolution back on the agenda for a future council date, and then it'll just have to wait for the next WIFA board meeting, which
Oh,
will be
okay.
November, December.
Because we don't have an opportunity to negotiate the price change.
Right.
We would have to go through a new process.
Well, it's just, we're just taking it to the WIFA, this gets us to the WIFA board to get them to approve the maximum amount that we need.
Okay,
That's all it does. And so the contracting, bidding and stuff, you know, in 45 days, we'll have that number, and then we'll know the exact price.
okay.
And also, the loan documents that you approve, we can reduce them at that time to that price.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, again, the project was approved for a certain amount of money.
Yes.
And now that we went into engineering and have done what we've done, we've had change of staff, we've got new people working on it. And I just want to bring up that I really feel like, after Michael gave his presentation, you know, at the study session, which was very thorough, is that the scope has changed on this project from what it initially came out to. There's some add-ons, some preferential work that, you know, hey, we'd rather do it this way type of thing. So Michael's invited me, you know, which I requested, and he offered, I requested, he's invited me to meet with him tomorrow. He's going to lay this out and give us a better, give me a better opportunity to understand where he's at with it. And the possibility that some things that have been presented in this new budget for the project could be put out there as options to the project. So I'm interested in seeing that. I'm interested in this project getting done and getting done as close to our original number as what we had planned.
Okay.
Okay, rather than double, is just where I'm at with it. So I guess my question for Michael is, what is the process before you go to bid, okay? What is the process for taking some of the things that maybe are not absolutely necessary, but you prefer to do? What's the process for putting those on separate line items when it goes out to bid, as you spoke about at the study session?
Well, let me clarify on the scope. The overall scope for the project hasn't changed. It's still a sewer main down Center Street to tie into Molly Ray and make that connection. What has happened is, in that process of designing that line, we've noticed that there are other aspects of the project that will be affected. For instance, our culverts. We know that we're trying to take a culvert, an existing CMP galvanized culvert, out of the ground. 9 times out of 10, you're going to bend the heck out of it. You're going to poke holes in it. Those particular items weren't addressed early on. So that actually increases the project a little bit. We have some survey monuments. So there are little aspects of the project, yes, that we could go back. The way we would handle, there's a couple ways you can handle it. You could deal with those before you go out to bid and just say, okay, we're not gonna chip. We're just gonna leave it A-B when we're done. And that takes out the chip. We're gonna try to repair the culverts or put it on the contractor to not damage the culverts during construction. And that can be kind of pulled out. In that case, though, what you see is an inflated price for the sewer, because they recognize that they're going to go through and probably destroy the culverts, so they're looking in the back of their mind, well, I probably have to buy culverts. So that's one way of doing it. And then you can reduce the overall price by reducing those certain items. And that's generally referred to as a value engineering type of scenario. The other option is to do alternatives, deduct a bid alternatives in the project. So when it goes out to bid, everyone has a clear indication that this is the bulk of the bid tab, this is the project, but then there's deductive alternatives. You remove the culverts, you remove the pavement, and then they can put their numbers in there and we can just start reducing that number. Another option is during the addendum or during the bid process, we can issue an addendum to strike out certain items so that everyone knows, okay, you're not bidding on culvert anymore, you're not bidding on chip anymore, and then that price comes down. And the final thing we could do is after award, as long as the per line item doesn't creep 10, I think it's 10 to 15% beyond the original estimate or total for a particular line item, we can negotiate with the contractor down. Instead of doing 800 linear feet of culvert, he's only doing 700, so we only pay for 700. But as long as we stay within those limits of flexibility that the state allows us to, we can start crossing off some things as well during construction or during the negotiations with the contractor before the contract is signed. So there are options. The concern now is in order for us to maintain the schedule we want to maintain and track where we need to track, we need to continue down this path. If in the event we get the bids back and we're 600, 700, we're 200 short, then maybe we could start looking at trying to chop some stuff off. So we really don't know until we get the numbers, but we're hopeful that they're going to come more in line to where we think they're supposed to be, and we get a project for somewhere around the original estimate of the project, but we just don't know right now.
Right. I guess where let me go back to that question again. I may not be phrasing it correctly. Do we need to come back to council, or is this just something you do as far as setting these line items if that's what we request? How is that done so that you're ready to go out to bid?
Well, we could certainly present it to council, the different options. In a typical engineering scenario, it's done with the engineering and the budgeting. So because we're so far off of where we thought we should be, it's not a matter of, I believe, of just chopping things off to get us down to that number. It's just we're just so far off. If we were like 100 off or a couple hundred off, I mean, then you can kind of look at trying to get to where we need to be. So, but typically it's not something we bring to council unless it's a major aspect of the project that we're taking out, like in the EDA project where we're considering some other options there. If I was to come in and say, you know what, we can't make it up to Molly Ray Sewer, we can only do 500 to 1 West. That's something we need to bring to council and say, we're not doing the full scope of the project. So at this point, it's a matter of engineering preference and what's going to be best for that road moving forward. I mean, we have the possible connection coming through later, and we have some problems with our roads now in ponding and the like. So some of these things we're trying to address. Most of our culverts have minimum cover, so we're trying to look at getting that because some of them are getting smashed because there's no cover on them. So those are the different things that we looked at in the process, and that's why you see the prices you see or the estimate you see before you today. But yeah, there's opportunity to do some.
Okay.
So
Well, I would just like to see as much of that done as possible.
Sure.
And it is frustrating. I mentioned this before. I'm not happy with the fact that we got this brought to us a week before we have to vote on it. I think that we would have had more time, to deal with it, to ponder how we want to go. I am going to support this tonight to go for the funding, and as Mayor Marley brought up, knowing that we're not voting on accepting it.
Right.
Okay, we're giving finance the go-ahead to go to WIFA and make the application.
Right.
And then we come back later, after the bids are in and everything, to really look at the hard numbers and make a decision.
Sure, and I welcome you, us meeting and discussing. I think that's a great opportunity to get you guys on the same page so we can present to you, and then you can reach out to your fellow council members to send the same messages. The other thing I want you guys to remember is that we can go out to bid and we can still reject all the bids. We're not locked in once we go through that process. So if we do get them and they're way out of line and you guys are saying that's just way too much money we spend on this project, I mean, we can pull them all back and no harm, no foul.
You bet.
Re-strategize and go out to bid again. Again, what we're trying to be conscious of is getting as many people at Molly Ray. There's a lot of builders in there now. that are waiting for us to get this thing in so that they can hook up. So we're trying to keep everyone happy along the way. So that's kind of where we're at. But we can have those conversations, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Just one more thing. On your timeline, you're feeling good about your timeline even though we're doing this in the middle of winter?
Well, weather's not really considered. I mean, I'm looking at a perfect scenario of getting in there and turning and burning. But yeah, there's always that unknown of weather. Yes, absolutely. But,
We're talking about working in between November and February.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. Yeah, one of the things that you had brought up in your presentation at the study session was like putting stub outs as your pipe runs down so that future connections are easy, and that may not have been in the original. So.
Right, and the manholes and the strategic placement of the manholes and the roads. I mean, you may find that, manholes are typically 500 feet apart, but if we have roads that are only 4 apart, or if we have jogs in the pipe, or we need to deflect our slopes, we're adding more manholes for that as well. So that's another aspect, yes, Mayor.
All right, excellent. And our drop dead date will be November the 8th. If we do approve, I liken it to taking the money out of the ATM, and then we figure out on the 8th whether we want to spend it. So, okay. Any other questions over here?
No, he don't want to talk to you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay,
Mr. Miller.
what I'm gathering is that, and I wasn't at the study session, I apologize. I was ill. I didn't want everybody ill. But total cost is 1.15 million.
Yes.
55, excuse me.
Right.
Okay, and your estimate on this is made from?
Yeah, the total project cost is $1,260,000. And the original estimate was $565,000.
I got that part. I knew that part. Okay, and the estimate for this is from?
Our consultant provides us an engineer's estimate at
Okay,
60 and
I understand.
90%.
Engineer's
so,
estimate.
yep.
Okay, and the last thing is, if we get this additional 640 and we don't need it, we don't have to take it, or do we give it back, or?
We'll only spend what we need for the project, and the rest we give back.
Okay,
We
thank you.
deobligate.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Unless we want to make a statue of a council member yeah. There you go. Mr. Mendoza, you had questions?
As bids come in, back me up to the timeline if you would. Between October 26th and November 8th, at that point, once you have the bids, that's when you start negotiating with low bidder and possibly start shaving at that point.
Yes, yes, we'd like to get to it sooner than later. That way you, during the process of advertising to bid opening, there's about a 4-week process there, 28 days or so. During that time, if we could do that and try to start taking some things off, that would be ideal. That way everybody is on the same page. We send out addendum to all the contractors that are bidding, knowing that we're maybe shaving some quantities, adjusting some line items. That's the best case scenario. But we still have the opportunity, once we do get the low bidder, to maybe tweak things. You just got to be real careful when you get into that, because a contractor who also bid it might say, well, you didn't tell me we were shaving, this much off this line item and this much off that line item. It's not fair. So,
And if that low bidder says, no, this was my bid, can you then go to that next bid?
we can reject.
Or does it need to go back out to bid?
No, we can reject the bid. There's certain
If
caveats.
the low bid doesn't want to play ball and start shaving, he can,
Well, I have to check into the language specifically on how it's written and what are, and I can loop the town attorney in on that. I'd like to get her advice on that one moving forward.
Okay.
But, yeah, there is some flexibility. Oh, there she is.
She woke up.
There is some flexibility, but we need to be cautious. We need to make sure everyone's on the same page and that we're providing the opportunity for all the contractors to bid in apples per apples and not apples per oranges, so, yes.
okay.
Any other questions this side? Any other questions this side?
A comment.
A comment? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, when you get in the airplane and you buckle your seatbelt, you know who bolted the motor on that plane?
Cheapest bidder.
Low bidder.
A little bit. That's always a comforting thought. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I came tonight. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to adopt resolution number 161092, authorizing the loan application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And council may vote to recess the regular meeting and hold an executive session. Would you like to have a break before we do that?
No.
Okay. Hold an executive session which will not be open to the public for the following purposes. An executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A4 for discussion or consultation with the town attorney in order to consider its position and instruct the town attorney regarding the town's position regarding a contract with Prescott Sportsman's Club related to management of the Chino Valley Shooting Range facility that is the subject of negotiations. I would entertain a motion to recess to executive session after a 10-minute break?
10-minute break.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to recess to executive session following a 10-minute break.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Recessed for 10 minutes.
So I don't need that no more.
Convene the regular meeting.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, boss.
Okay, hang tight for a second.
Did you turn me on?
Yeah, you get a lot of junk in there, don't you? Okay, go ahead and make.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to convene the regular meeting.
All right.
Second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're back in session. We have consulted with our attorney, and the chair would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion in 3 seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.